Hey everyone, today on Le Gourmand, I'm going to teach you guys how to make a super simple tomato sauce with nothing but the ingredients we find here. Stay tuned to see how it's made. Hey guys, welcome to Le Gourmand. So like I said, today we're going to be making a super simple tomato sauce with nothing but the ingredients you see here. Some good quality whole plum San Marzano Italian tomatoes, some nice garlic, some basil. You want the leaf and the stem. I tend to buy the whole plant. This way when you snip off the stem, it grows back. Pepper, salt, a little bit of oregano. I don't have any sugar out. We might need some at the end. We'll adjust the acidity. We'll see. So let's get to it. So basically, the first thing you need to do, this recipe is so easy, I don't even have any knives out. It's all done with the hands. You're gonna take your whole garlic clove. I use, for one can, the 2.8 liter can of tomatoes, I usually use anywhere between 3 to 5 garlic cloves. Make sure you get good quality garlic. Don't get none of that white stuff. It looks like plastic. I'm not gonna say where it's from, but you know where it's from. Just take your garlic, put it on the cutting board, give it a smash, should come right out. I like to keep a little compost bowl, throw everything inside. Compost, oh, where'd that come from? Compost, just kind of, it's good. Compost, whatever we don't need, we throw it in there. It goes back in the garden. Whole circle of life. Everyone's seen The Lion King. If you haven't, I don't know what kind of childhood you had. So we're just going to continue with this garlic. We're going to smash it. We're going to take the skins off. You could leave the garlic whole. I mean, this tomato sauce is going to cook for a few hours, so everything's going to melt. That one exploded. You don't need to annihilate the garlic. Like I said, just break it up. Had a bit of a rough week. And it's all over my fingers. So that's pretty much all the prep you need. You can go straight to the stove. It's so easy. It's a set it and forget it recipe. You put it all in the pot. Let's head over to the pot. Let's head over to the stovetop right now. I'll show you just how easy it is. Okay, so now we're over at the stovetop. It's going to be super simple. So I just have some olive oil. You don't want anything too expensive. You want to use that nice, really expensive olive oil for finishing. You don't want to cook over heat with it. I'm going to take my garlic and go straight in. All right? Cold. I haven't turned anything on yet. I'm going to turn this on, whack it high heat. We're going to leave this go until the garlic starts to sizzle a little bit. It's going to start to brown. Now again, when you're using so few ingredients, it's important that you use the best quality ingredients possible. You want the ingredients to speak for themselves. You want all the natural flavors to come out. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get all the flavor out of the garlic. We're trying to get all the nice aromatic oils out of the basil. Some good quality oregano. This one, we bring from Greece. This is that OG stuff that you handpick in the mountains with grandma. You know, they say, oh, we're going to go on a family vacation to Greece. No, you spend all summer picking oregano and tea from the mountains. But that's my childhood. I shouldn't talk about it. I digress. When you're making the tomato sauce, because the tomatoes are whole, you're going to need something to crush the tomatoes with. Now you can use a potato masher. Not everybody has a food mill. Like I said before, same thing with the garlic. This is going to cook for so long that the tomatoes are practically just going to fall apart and they're going to melt. So now we're starting to get a little bit of movement here in the oil. Here the garlic is slightly starting to bubble. We're starting to get that nice sweet garlic aroma. If you're lucky enough and you have a gas stove, you can just do this and kind of deep fry the garlic. This is a trick I learned back in culinary school. So you're just deep frying the garlic a little bit. Again, this is going to help flavor the oil. You're making yourself a nice base for the tomato sauce. And people are going to say, oh my God, you're deep frying garlic. It's going to burn. It's going to be super garlicky. No, that's not what we're doing here. We're giving everything a nice base. You're going to add in the tomatoes. that are sweet. You're going to add in the basil. You're going to add in your salt, your pepper. See, that's what we want. We want the garlic to just sizzle away like this. That's what we want. We don't want it to burn. The second you burn anything in a pot or a pan, no good. Throw it out. So now that our garlic is nice and caramelized, we're going to take the basil stems, break them up, throw them in. You getting that? We'll just be careful here. Now with the tomato sauce. Turn the heat on low. Take your tomatoes, and you're going to get ready to pour these in. It's going to make a bit of a mess. Yowza! There we go. You just want to mix this all in. Going to turn this back on high. We're going to add a little bit of water here. And that's also going to help water down the sauce. Just so we could we don't want anything to burn on the bottom. Again, it's very important. You add a little bit of water, you get all of that flavor out from your bowl. Give it a good mix. Now we want to let this come up. We don't need a super aggressive boil. That's not what we want. We want this to come up. The second we start to see it boil, we're going to turn it down. We're going to leave it simmer. I barely simmer. I want to see a couple of bubbles here and there. And then this can sit in the back of the stove for 3 hours. You can go ahead with whatever you got to do for the rest of the day. Come back in 3 hours. And it's going to be a super, super, super rich tomato sauce. All right, now we're getting a little bit more action. This is a little, now it's coming up to temperature. So again, it's going, I want the tomato sauce to stay like this. Just a super light simmer. Give it a little mix. Before I put this off in the back to forget about it, I'm going to add in about, I don't know, I had about 4 stalks of basil there, but like I said, I take it from a plant, so there's a lot more basil leaves. The basil you get from a plant compared to those little pre-packaged plastic containers is night and day. In the summer, or if you're lucky enough to have basil all year long in the garden, that's your best bet. So you just want to take your basil. I'm not even going to tear it, I'm not going to rip it, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to sprinkle it inside. All right, you're going to leave this go just like this for about, I'd say anywhere between 2.5 to 3 hours. So we'll come back and we'll see you then.
3 hours later.
So here we are after about 3 hours of cooking. Look at this sauce. It's completely reduced down. The tomatoes are almost non-existent anymore. They have just broken down completely. This is what you want, a nice thick tomato sauce. There's no need to add anything like cornstarch. You're gonna see after when we cook the pasta, we're gonna use the pasta water to thicken the sauce up just a little bit, help stick everything together. Before I go to season my sauce, because I am serving this with pasta, that's about half the box. My pasta water is already seasoned. That's very important. Always salt your pasta water. Now when we're going to check for final seasoning, I'm going to add a little bit of oregano. Add a little bit of pepper. Pinch of salt. And maybe 2 good pinches, 2 very healthy pinches of sugar. You know, we'll make it 3 Tomatoes were a little acidic. And I'll give this all a good mix. A little bit more sugar. And some salt. Again, I'm not telling you exactly how much sugar to put or how much salt to put. Every brand of tomato is going to taste different. Depending on when they were harvested, they might taste different. It's nature. Nothing is perfect. Everything always changes, and that's why we have to adapt. So I'm just going to do one quick little final tasting. Here's a little bit more salt. Again, you have to balance the salt and the sweet and the acidic. That's what cooking is. It's all about balance. And you'll find that balance. So that's our sauce ready to go. So I just put some tomato sauce in a pan here. I'm going to slowly start heating it up. The penne, the box says about 10 minutes. Again, we're going to take it out 1 minute before, right? Because we want to finish the pasta inside the sauce. So I'm just going to bring this up to temperature. I'm going to add some butter, of course. Always got to add butter. Now I'm just going to come in with my penne. Let it finish cooking in here. Again, don't worry about draining the pasta water. You want it. We're going to give this a nice toss. I'm going to cook away some of that water. Now guys, I'm not going to tell you how much sauce to put in your pasta. That's completely up to you. Some people like their pasta like soup. All sauce, no pasta. Others like their pasta very dry. We're going to end up somewhere in the middle with that. Just going to finish cooking off some of that water. Toss your pasta. Now, as always, when we're finishing pasta, we're going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese. But for this one, here we have penne pomodoro. We're going to add in some ricotta cheese. We're going to break this up. Again, my heat is off. We're going to give everything a nice toss. Now the ricotta is just going to add a creaminess without changing the flavor too much. Some Parmesan cheese. Give everything a nice toss again. We're going to finish by plating right in the middle of our plate. I used about half a box of penne. It's clearly enough for 2 people. So there you go, guys. The world's simplest and best tomato sauce recipe. A few ingredients, but boy, let me tell you, they speak for themselves. I don't even need to say any more. Enjoy your meals.